Yeah, well, if we're ambitious, and I certainly am, or if we have big goals, or if we're just already successful and like we're running a world, it's not the worst thing in the world to pair up with somebody who has a different kind of energy. On the other hand, sometimes we fall for somebody who runs as hot and as fast as we do. And that does not mean it won't work. But it does mean that we need to have a set of conversations that get us to a spot where we know that we are outsourcing what needs to be outsourced, that we are on the same page about how it looks to raise children together or to show up and like really be in our relationship. Because the default assumption by the society that we live in is that as the woman in a relationship, I will do the emotional caretaking and I will do the invisible labor, all the stuff that it takes to memorize and to like keep straight in my head to keep our life going forward. So if I don't have conversations pretty darn fast as I'm dating, I am apt to wind up with a partner who, by default, presumes that I will take on that emotional labor, that I will take on the lion's share of that. It's never too late to go back and have those conversations. But yeah, if you're in the dating stage, if you're in the creating your relationship stage, have those conversations now. It's totally possible to design what you need, but not if you don't ask for it.
So do you think this is something we should be asking for from this, talking about from the start of the relationship? Because I do notice, like, some people are successful and they also want a successful partner,
Yes.
but they don't realize that in the long term, especially when they start having kids, it could be very stressful of the relationship. And I've seen it work with two partners like that, but it's also affected the children
Right.
because they've both not been there and the children have grown up with nannies and, caretakers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think we
go on.
do. We absolutely should be clear about what we want and how we want to design our life. There is a mistake that people make where when we're getting started in a relationship, and it's usually subconscious stuff running the show here, we try to be what the other person wants. We're guessing. We're in this projection tunnel where we're trying to guess and be who the other person wants to a degree. And when we do that, we set ourselves up to be disappointed 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the road about what we actually get out of the relationship. So yeah, I do think we should the first relationship work is your work. It has nothing to do with what happens between you and a partner. It's about getting clear on what your priorities are. And for instance, if you want the partner, the kids, I have a passel of teenagers, being clear on what that meant, because that meant quite a few years of dialing back some of my work so that I could be there. There were choices to be made. And those choices can be made from a place of consciousness or from a place of emergency. Emergency is not a great place to make decisions from. Yeah. Have those conversations as you go. But it's never too late.
Yeah. And do you think sometimes these choices, there comes a time when people get into a relationship and all of a sudden they're battling these choices because both of them are thinking, I don't want to give up this aspect of my career, or I don't want to give up this aspect of myself for the
Right.
family. And why can't you do it? Because, my career is going great and I can do this. And the other person's like, no, but I'm doing this. And there's this blaming game that happens sometimes, where
Right.
they're blaming each other. They don't want to compromise. And I've seen it also end in divorce,
Absolutely.
so. And also there's the thing that, people say yes when they go into this relationship, saying, yes, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then the relationship starts, things change in their life. Career gets better, they're making more money, whatever it is. And those decisions become so hard to make.
Right. Well, I have people do two really big things. They're actually very, very simple, but they're two big things. One is figure out your relationship why. We all know Simon Sinek's talk about figuring out your why. Why are you showing up in a relationship? Not about this particular partner even. Why? Why do you want a relationship at all? Get clear on that. Spend an hour meditating and journaling and figure out what the heck you're doing. Why do you do this? And the second thing is your purpose. This is different. Your purpose is between you and your partner. What is the purpose of this relationship? So many relationships have zero concept of a purpose, a grander goal. But we wouldn't run a company without a vision, right? We make mission statements. We declare our company's purpose. If we don't do that, we are micromanaging and we're just running from thing to thing, and it's no good. In order to have a really, truly connected relationship, we want to know what the purpose is. I know people who've decided, in fact, to have their purpose be to raise a family together. And when they commit to that purpose, when those bumps in the road, those changes that you were talking about, when they come up, they can return to that purpose and say, how can we be in alignment with this purpose and take advantage of what's right in front of us and enjoy our life? But the purpose allows them to be on the same page and build from a place of togetherness rather than I want, you want. That's that polarizing tension we were talking about. That's not helpful. We want to build on that solid foundation. So your why, your relationship why, and your together purpose for your relationship. Two great tools to put in action.
I really like that because it just, from what you said, it makes a lot of sense. It cuts a lot of crap because you know your relationship why and what the purpose is.
Right.
And this is a discussion you can have with someone at the beginning when you're dating and things start getting more serious. But then I think the hard thing for most people, male and female, to do is then to cut the tie.
Yeah. Yep, it is. It's hard to say no
Yeah.
to somebody who's not a match. Like, yep, you know what? They're not a match. That's the whole point, though. The whole point of these conversations is to rule out people who are not actually in alignment with our vision for our life. If you don't want to be married for 13 years and then find yourself divorcing somebody, I did that. I did that because I did not have an aligned purpose with my first husband. And when the rubber met the road and things got hard because I wanted my life to go a certain way, yeah, we couldn't stay together. So if you want to build a relationship on firm foundation, then you need to be willing to let go of people who aren't the right match.